Here comes Madison. And let's bring her on. Alright, singer-songwriter Madison Lewis is joining me right now. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you so much for being on the show this evening.
Having me.
So, first and foremost, congratulations on the
Thank
release
you.
of Back to the Blue.
Yep. Thank you.
It was just released. We're definitely gonna get into this record throughout the interview. But first things first, what got you starting into music?
Well, I've always grown up around music. You know, I was humming before I was talking. I think that it's honestly always been in me. You know, I really never listened to my generation's music as a child, and I still don't to this day. It didn't matter if I was in the car or at the house. There was always music playing somewhere, or I was actually listening to live music. And I got to hear a lot of really cool people play when I was young, and I think that really helped shape me. And, you know, I knew that I was going to grow up to love this thing, and I knew that it would be a part of me. And I started taking piano lessons at the age of 4, and I picked up guitar and violin a few short years later. But it's always been in me.
And you definitely have made a name for yourself as a singer-songwriter. And I support local music. I live in Lexington, and I know some musicians out in London that's doing their thing like yourself. And the support that a lot of artists get, I think it's pretty cool that, you know, local artists like yourself that's out there. And and I think people like you need to get heard a lot more. There's just so much talent, and I get it. We all guilty of listening to mainstream music, but and I keep telling people, just imagine if people support local music as much as mainstream music. You know, just imagine that people.
Oh, yeah.
People like yourselves get bigger platforms and bigger opportunities, and all these radio stations with all the resources they have. And I get it, you play all the popular names, but there's a Madison Lewis out there, people. And she's got this remarkable record, and I like the record. I think it's radio worthy. And I played one of your songs earlier. I played a song called Blue. Definitely like that record.
Thank you.
So let's get into this record. Back to the Blue is the name of the album. What was it like working on this project, and what made you decide to name this record Back to the Blue?
On my first project, I wanted to get somebody who knew what they were doing, and I was really lucky that I was already a student of Ken Holbrook, and everyone would tell me that Ken was the person to go to for just about everything, and he had a vision at first that even I couldn't see. But we essentially collaborated together, and he brought his input, and we created together this really old school feeling album, and it's really awesome to how this all came together. And you know, he would complete a mix of the song, and I would listen to it and sometimes like it or sometimes hate it. And in those cases when I hated it, you know, I'd cry a lot. I'm a big crier, and Ken does not like me to do that. And that happened a lot on Blue and The World Ain't Gonna Change for You, actually. But he kept telling me that he was teaching me to be strong and to stand up for what I believe in and how I believe the music should be, although he was clear that he was in charge, to say the least. After some compromises, though, I believe the album did turn out awesome, and it was so much more than I ever hoped for. And then with Back to the Blue, how did I come out to name this? Well, this is actually an interesting story. There is a line in the track 2 of the album, The World Ain't Gonna Change for You. It says, "I've never been too long without falling back to the blue." Well, for some reason, I thought it was back into the blue at this exact moment. But it's like back into the blue, you know, is the line. but I went with Back to the Blue because I thought that, well, first of all, I thought that that was the line, and it's not. It's a little wrong, but I decided to keep it because I thought Back to the Blue really, really kind of just really represents the album. I think that's just a good way to do it. It's a weird way how it came out to be. I heard that word wrong in my mind for that one time when I was trying to name my album, and it ended up working perfectly.
It definitely worked out very well. So you had the album release show last week. How did it all go, and what has been people's reaction to this album so far?
When I did the show at Jarfly, it was really, really cool, actually. And I had two players to back me up, Kevin Dalton and Tommy Kate of Somerset, because that's where the album release show was. It was at Jarfly. And it was my first time playing there, and it was a really, really neat venue. And, you know, it was a very cozy space, and I thought that it worked out very, very well. And that worked. Yeah, it was just really good. That was really good. What was the other question you asked?
Oh, that was the question. I asked as far as the album, or actually the show, the turnout of the show, and fans' reaction to the album. So.
Yeah. Oh, I've had nothing but positive support from people, and you know, they really are seeming to appreciate the album. And I appreciate everybody's support, you know. And, I mean, because some people are like, a 14-year-old making this album seriously. And, you know, they're kind of confused by it. But then when they listen, they're like, okay, we get this now. So I think they've been really, really happy with with everything that I've done so far.
So one of the standout songs to me would have to be Back to New Orleans. Like, I'm a Southerner. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm born, raised in the South, and that song hit me pretty good. Like, it's the vibe about it and everything. What was it like recording that song, Back to New Orleans, and what's it all about?
Back to New Orleans it's actually more of a story song because I've never actually been to New Orleans, and let's see, because I've also got a song called New York City Blues. Never been to New York, but I saw these when I write songs. I see these like movies in my mind, and that's kind of how Back to New Orleans came to be. Just a story of going back to New Orleans because if you listen to the song, it's actually leaving me in this graveyard to die because I took somebody's man, essentially, and that's what that song's about. But recording that one, it was very, very cool. But what really stands out on that song, in my opinion, is just the arrangement and the musicians who were on the album, or on that song, sorry. And one that really, really stands out is Daniel Carwile. He played the fiddle on that album, and the song, and he has, oh my gosh, he's a nationally acclaimed instructor, and he actually used to be my fiddle teacher, and he is just so talented, and he is just, wow. I mean, I can say a lot about Daniel and all the other musicians on here, and then, he's done so much, and it's so awesome to think that he's been on this album, and, that really, he did a great job on that, and I think that's what really, really made that.
So for people that wants to buy a copy of the CD or purchase it, stream the album, where are some music sites out there that people can purchase this record?
Well, the best place, I think, in my opinion, is my website. You can get an actual copy from there. That's the only place. Or besides my gigs, if you can't come to a gig of mine, always go to the website, which is MadisonLewismusic.com, and it's really, really, it's easy to find, and it's just right there. And the website's already set up. Go and order in, and I'll sign the record if you want. And if you don't want to do that, if you want a digital copy, you can go to iTunes and purchase the album. And the website and iTunes, I think, are the two best places to get it.
I definitely got the album through Bandcamp. That's definitely a place people can go and check that out as well. And I'm starting to get the hang of Bandcamp, and more of my local music friends are on Bandcamp. So I'm just trying to build that collection, and I got some Madison Lewis in there too. So, thanks to you, of course. So you was on Balcony TV Kentucky recently. And,
yes, that was, yeah.
And it was hosted by a fellow local singer-songwriter, Ryan Sinclair. She's the lead vocalist of a band called All the Little Pieces. Very good friend of mine, and I'm a fan of the band as well. What was that like being on Balcony TV Kentucky?
That was super, super fun. And, let's see, it was about a 2-hour drive for us that morning, so that was tiring. But when we got up there, the place that we shot the video at was just absolutely beautiful, right on the water, and it looked so good. And the video turned out nice, and they were very professional, and they were just such great people, all of them that work on Balcony TV.
So, shout out to Ryan, shout out to Balcony TV Kentucky, good people.
Oh, yeah.
So, MadisonLewisMusic.com is the website to go for upcoming shows. You also got Instagram, you have YouTube, and your Facebook. All the social media links are on there, so you can check those out.
Yeah.
And go get that album. Go get the record. Definitely a must buy in 2017. Trust you gonna love this record.
Thank you.
So before I let you go, Madison, who are like your musical influences, whether it's mainstream or local music, those that inspire you as a musician?
There's a lot of people that have inspired me, but some of the ones that really stand out in my opinion is Leonard Cohen, Tom Waits, Roger Miller, Frank Sinatra, those kind of people.
I love Mr. Frank Sinatra. He's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, Frank, he's that dude for real. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, but thank you so much for being on. Continued success, and thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.